The Children of the Oak Walker. Part 12 by random appellation 468. Hugging Sandra's coat tighter around my shoulders, I stifled another cough. My hands shook so hard I couldn't cover my mouth as I walked, and my throat cried out for something to drink. Fatigue hooked its vengeful claws into me. Bouts of dizziness threatened to topple me over, but I put one foot in front of the other on my way down the gravel lane between the livestock pens. Just a little farther, and then I can rest. Just a little farther. It'll be warm inside the check-in hut. Of course, I knew that last bit was a lie, but it was a comforting lie, one that I repeated to myself over and over in the agonizing walk from the clinic to the main parking lot. Any other time I would have considered the journey minuscule, but with the roots leeching every drop of energy I had, it felt like miles. People were out and about inside the walls of the fort, workers on their way home, rangers changing guard shift on the walls and towers, and researchers en route to dinner in the visitor's center. I bent my head to avoid their eyes, Sandra's coat enough to keep most curious gazes away from a distance. The stars were out in a clear, cold night for October, which made the journey terrible for me. My knuckles cracked and bled, my ears stung, and I couldn't feel my toes. What would usually have been a pleasant aroma of cooked bison meat and wood smoke, but the breeze made my lungs twitch. The coughs harder and harder to smother. A pebble worked its way into my left slipper, but I didn't stop to remove it, for fear I'd pass out if I bent down to take the shoe off. It didn't matter, I figured, since my feet were well on their way to being numb anyhow. As I passed through the outer limits of the main parking lot, barren as usual save for the sandbag mortar pits in the center, my ears picked up the tinkling of laughter and singing from the visitor center. I remembered that the workers decided to host a harvest party a few days ago and had only postponed it to today because of the ambush. No one wanted to celebrate the same day our boys were killed. I'll bet they've got more of that port stuff. That was good. For alcohol, anyway. Maybe there's barbecued pork or some cheesy bread. Must be nice. I screwed my left eye shut, the other shielded by the mask of bandages, and attempted to surmount my depression. The smell of the food set my stomach to churning, but my mind still remembered how good it was to eat. Dinner with Chris had been a short, sullen affair thanks to the patrol going out soon after, and with mutated plant life feeding off my body, I couldn't have anything with yeast or sugar to drink nowadays, for risk of making the infection worse. Ahead, the lean-to roof over the crumpled hut loomed from the dark, and I sniffled in relief. Both hands moved like rubber, and I officially could not feel the pebble in my slipper anymore because my legs were numb below the ankle. But still, I'd made it. The check-in building had 10 stucco walls, fire-blackened for the most part and pockmarked with holes from shell fragments. Its once forest green roof lay in warped tatters among the steel rafters. The makeshift lean-to-style roof fashioned from old asphalt shingles that were probably stripped off an abandoned house. No doorway stood in the entrance. The rocket that struck the building had blown it clean off its hinges, and I could see a mass of cracks and chips in the threshold. However, a thin rug hung from a bar across the old doorframe, and the floor had been swept clean of ash and cinders. Through the gaps around it, I noticed the rubble was cleared away, the broken glass knocked out of the shattered windows. It almost looked welcoming, if not for the scorched walls. A glimmer of orange twinkled out from behind the dirty brown rug. Is that a fire? Curious, I slipped around the musty door flap and choked back a cough of surprise. Just beyond the old doorway lay the foyer, where guests would have come to check in at various windows for their tours back when we had such things. While they waited, they might have wandered down the hall on my left, where I guessed there had been bathrooms, or maybe stood pondering their choices at 2 shattered vending machines along the right side wall. In lieu of excited guests, row after row of cheap round candles lined the walls and snaked in paths across the floor, some on old ledges or shelves that had enough substance left in them to support weight. They were about the size of bottle caps, and I recognized them from vendors in the market. Several tarps covered the empty windows to prevent the wind from blowing them out, which had concealed the light from view on the outside. And behind every candle stood a picture. Men, women, and children lined the walls and the floor in neat columns of square photographic paper. A few portraits were even pinned to the rafters, where bits of wire held suspended, homemade chandeliers of candles beneath them so the light could illuminate their faces. Some wore New Wilderness uniforms in their picture, as if from a company registry, while others were clearly civilians from outside the park. Names were written on each picture in either paint or permanent marker, and many had little gifts or flowers arranged around the image, along with sticky notes covered in final messages. I love you, John. You are my world. Someday we'll meet again. Surrounded by a sea of bygone humanity, I turned slowly on the spot to take it all in. Cemeteries had always struck me as dull, lonely places, but this was sad in a different way. Here, the faces were closer. The flames danced as though with echoed whispers of their voices, and the gifts left by the living had touches of heartbreak that ran off the walls in a silent choir. I knew the building couldn't have been much older than myself, yet somehow it felt ancient, like the ruined elven fortresses Chris spoke of in the make-believe world of his little metal soldiers. If the church at Ark River had a holy aura to it, the check-in hut stood sacred in a morose fashion. The shadows longer, the silence thicker, the air heavier. I was alone here, but in a way I wasn't. Scrounging up a burst of renewed energy from my wonder, I paced through the cozy shrine and stared into the eyes of each person. I had no idea what to look for, but at some point I followed a line of dates under the names, until I reached the oldest ones in a far corner. February of the previous year had been a bad one. There were so many smiling people in uniform shirts with their death day in that month. Some on the same date, others only a few days apart. A few of them looked younger than me, maybe 18 at most, and seeing their bright, hopeful grins on the plastic made my heart twinge in pity. They never saw it coming, did they? Randy Howard's placard took up a special place of importance, separate from the chronological order of the rest. His picture had a gold-painted wooden frame around it, showered with flowers and notes, as if he'd been some beloved hero in a storybook. Like most old veterans, he didn't smile for his picture, but there was a strength in his old brown eyes, a martial fire that knew not age nor complacency. Still, I didn't feel or see anything as I stood before his picture. No great vision, no sudden imparting of knowledge. With a frown, I flexed my fingers under the coat and shivered. Had I missed something? This was the place I knew it was. What could I be overlooking? Had my dream really been just that? A meaningless spasm of my brain and nothing more? I caught a flash of color to my left, and the air struck in my esophagus. She beamed in her new black polo shirt, long hair draped over her shoulder, in a casual but pretty braid, blue eyes alight with enthusiasm. Just from the way she smiled, I could tell she was a nice person, the kind of girl I could have gotten along with in school. Her auburn tresses bore hints of red in the flash of the camera, and under her picture lay a name that snaked through my memory like streams of water. Madison Cromwell. Next to her, another figure stood proud in the clutches of time, his shoulders drawn back, a black trucker's hat on his head. His face was clean-shaven in this image, with no mud or scratches, but I knew him even before I read his name. Mark Petrick. Mark. That had been the name on the sketch in Dr. O'Brien's office. The name the girl in my dream had said, the one allegedly killed by the Oak Walker. I'd seen him in my hallucinations during the first surgery. Or rather, Madison had seen him. That's why the voice wasn't mine. I sucked in a gasp, my body cold, but my mind on fire. It hadn't been a dream, none of it had. Like the stranger in the chemical suit had said, they were memories. Her memories. Somehow I'd gained access to shards of Madison's life, broken pieces of the night Mark died. The first casualty in the Breach's war against New Wilderness. Bound to the apex being, these lowly copies would have been physically intertwined with their maker, perhaps even sharing a collective consciousness. Like an avalanche of thoughts, Dr. O'Brien's words tumbled through my head, and a slight wiggle in the skin over my stomach rammed the point home. A collective consciousness. The Oakwalker had used it to make the puppets, and now Visitorak had figured out how to mutate people into them. Perhaps that meant our memories, our conscious, ended up as part of the collective whole. It would explain how I could see her, hear her voice in my sleep, live brief moments through her eyes. But then, why couldn't I see things from Mark's perspective? Or Randy's, or any of the others? They'd been killed, not made into puppets. Did that mean Madison was a puppet? Could one's consciousness survive that horrible conversion? What did this have to do with me? Puzzled, I stepped closer to inspect the dusty photo, in hopes of discovering some hidden clue nestled amongst the sticky notes from grieving collages pasted around the frame. Footsteps trudged over gravel outside, and my heart skipped a panicked beat. I couldn't be caught. I was too close to some kind of monumental answer. The truth sat just beyond my reach, on the tip of my mental tongue, a few seconds of pondering from being revealed. Why, oh why, did someone have to show up now? Shuffling as fast as my sore muscles would let me, I darted down the side hall and pressed myself into a crumpled arch where 2 water fountains rustled in their fastings. With bated breath, I peeked around the corner, head swimming as my body demanded that I get somewhere warm in the next few minutes. A wrist collapsed. The rug across the door rustled, and Jamie emerged into the glow of the candles. Her green eyes were red and puffy, no smile on her witty pink lips. In one hand, Jamie clasped a brown whiskey bottle, half the liquid inside already gone. The typical bleach blonde ponytail had more slack in it than usual, and a few stray locks dangled around her somber face. She wiped her nose on the sleeve of her Carhartt jacket and stumbled down to a seated position on the cold tile floor, both green eyes staring in a glazed sadness at a portrait of a smiling man with blonde hair in a ranger outfit. Bill. Guilt hit me like a ton of bricks, and I watched Jamie take a long draw from her bottle. Distracted by my own self-pity, I'd forgotten about Jamie's older brother, who had given his life in the earlier battles to keep New Wilderness safe. He'd been her role model, and Jamie had borne witness to his death. From the way she sat there, I could tell she was hurting. I knew that if it were me, Jamie would be there with a hug and a smile. I lifted one foot to step from my hiding spot, but another bulge in the door rug stopped me. Chris pushed his way inside, a plastic Tupperware container in his hands, and a sympathetic sigh escaped his lungs as he spotted Jamie. Hey. She made a weak smile over her shoulder at him. Hey. He sat down beside her, and Chris placed the container on the floor by his knees. Neither of them spoke for a few moments, both staring straight ahead in deep thought. Beef broth? Jamie angled her blonde head at the Tupperware box. Glancing at the box, Chris sighed, his forehead lined with tired wrinkles. Chicken noodle soup. Lots of iron and protein. Maybe she'll be able to keep some of it down. Man, I hope so. From where I hid, I fought the craving for that soup. Just the promise of warm broth enough to make my head spin. Both knees were numb, and I had to get warmed up soon, or I wouldn't be able to stay standing. Regardless, I stayed in my alcove, heart beating in anticipation as I watched. Jamie picked at the label on her whiskey bottle and held the beverage out to him. You heard about this morning? Everyone did. Chris took the bottle and gulped a mouthful, coughing at the strong liquor before he handed it back to her. It's all the researchers are talking about. Stupid gossiping brats. Did she say anything to you before she pulled that crazy stunt? Not really. Jamie swallowed more from the bottle and winced at the sour taste. She's pretty well checked out, staring at the wall, not saying much. I took the razors out of her hygiene kit just to be sure, but I won't make a difference. Chris's shoulders slumped and he rubbed his face with both hands in exasperation. My gut sank, and I rested my forehead against the charred wall I hid behind. So that's it then. Even Chris admits it. I'm screwed. Jamie's expression rippled with something like compassion, and she rubbed his muscled forearm with one tender hand. It's not your fault. Isn't it? Chris wrapped both arms around his knees and shook his mousy brown head. I should have listened to you. If I hadn't been so stubborn, if we'd turned around and gone back like you said, Hannah would be okay now. There's still time. Pleading tone came into her voice, though Jamie's words slurred a bit, and she bored into him with her gaze. He's gonna be fine. Doc will figure it out. I'm not a little kid, Jamie. Chris's jaw worked back and forth, and he blinked in rapid-fire sequence. Neither are you. If Doc was going to find something, she would have by now. Crestfallen, Jamie frowned at her bottle, the alcohol almost gone. So, what are you going to do? He sniffled, and Chris's sky-blue eyes moistened, the emotion heavy in his words. I can't lose her, Jamie. Just thinking about digging the grave makes me sick. How do I keep going after that? After everything we've been through? Shifting closer, she nudged his shoulder with hers. Both green irises pooled in mourning as Jamie leaned in. You can't just give up. You're the only one who kept us from going full Yugoslavia once Carter died. You're smart and capable and strong. We need you, Chris, all of us. He looked at her, and something flickered in Chris's face. Something that sent my brain into a cold plunge of anxiety. Jamie released the bottle so that it clattered to the floor and took Chris's face in both hands. With her fingers buried in his maple syrup-colored locks, Jamie's eyes slid shut, and their lips met. No. All the air left my lungs, and pain sliced through my chest. Too deep and poignant to be from the roots. Tears sprang to my horrified eye, and even under the bandage I felt thick, clammy liquid well up in the bad one. I wanted to scream, to shout, to jump up and down, waving my arms like a crime had been committed. For so long, I'd convinced myself that the tension between them was platonic, that Jamie was content with Andrew, that Chris cared for me and me alone. Now, with the two of them kissing over my future grave, all those comfortable lies fell away. Unable to bear it anymore, I clapped a hand over my mouth to smother the sobs, and rushed further down the side hall into the dark shadows of the burned-out building. Every step brought shooting pain from my wounds. The stitches weakened under the strain. Snot ran down my upper lip. The air stank of charcoal, and I tasted blood on the back of my tongue. I didn't know where I planned on going, but it didn't matter. Anywhere to get away from that awful sight. An outline appeared not far ahead, the faded gleam of a ragged gap in the back wall, and I squeezed through it into the short grass of the cherry grove. The Ark River cabins lay clustered nearby, most of them gone to an evening worship service, and I pivoted on one clumsy heel to try and make my way back to the clinic. The toe of my slipper snagged a loose stone, and I lost my balance. With the last of my strength sapped by the excruciating betrayal, I shut my good eye and let myself fall, engulfed by the fleeting hope that I wouldn't ever get up again. That cheating motherfricker. No, I'm kidding. But I'm not at the same time. What's going on, everybody? Ninja Gamer here, and welcome back. Thank you for watching yet another video here on the channel. If you did enjoy, please feel free to leave a like on the videos. It does help the channel innumerably and does get the gospel and beef sweets, as well as please consider subscribing, as we are trying to hit 10,000 subs by the end of the year. And it would be a massive blessing from the Lord if you guys did so. As always, guys, the amazing, what am I talking about? The $1 million question on screen right now, pinned comment description, if you prefer to read it that way, but please give it a read, as it will tell you how to gain eternal life, how to go to heaven. Who wouldn't want that? It'll teach you about repenting of your sins and trusting in the good Lord Jesus Christ with our aim and soul strength, as well as building that relationship with the Lord by reading the Holy Bible daily, praying daily, and evangelizing to people. It's great stuff, so please do so. The amazing Random Appalachian 468, a link to his Reddit page, and a link to the original story will be found in the description, as well as let me know what you thought about the story in the comments. I think I'm going to talk a little bit about the story after I get all my stuff done, because I really want to talk about it. But let me know what you guys thought. I thought it was fantastic as always. It's always amazing, reading a Random Appalachian 468 story. But the amount of giddy takes I got from this, the amount I was laughing, that soup thing, I lost my motherfucking mind with that, dude. I thought it was so funny. So yeah, so I got a bunch of cool takes from that. But yeah, hopefully you'll see those in the future at some point. But yeah, anyways. So links for that will be in the description, of course. Join the Discord, link in the description. Love to talk to you guys over there. We're building an awesome community, and I would love to have you over there. As always, link in the description. Always will be, of course, especially in these videos here. If you, a link to the amazing Mew, whose music I use in all of these videos, a link to his YouTube channel, and all the music will be linked in the description. If you'd like to use his music for your videos, a link, make sure that the specific song that you would like to use, in the description, it'll say if it's free to use and stuff like that. If it doesn't say so, it'll, the only one I've seen that is not free to use, as long as credit is given, specifically said it is not free to use. So, yeah. Just so you know, but it will say in the description if it is free to use, of course. And if it does, you're free to use it with a link in your description of his YouTube channel link. And if, of course, it doesn't, it doesn't. But, and then maybe put the link to the song as well. I more do that so that if you guys would like to listen to his music in your free time, like I love to do, like I was doing today when I was building my chair, my gaming chair that we bought at IKEA today. Yeah, I love doing that. So it's amazing. So please go take a look at that. My brothers have a YouTube channel, to Mac Plush Videos, where they make plush videos, and I make quite a few cameos over there. So if you want to see me in something other than horror stories and video games, go check it out. I recommend the 2021 videos and the amazing South Park series where I play Eric Cartman, of course, guys. So please go check that out. It's fantastic stuff. My youngest brother, Cole, wants to be a rapper, so I'm leaving a link to his YouTube channel and a SoundCloud for his music. The Cole is his name. It's fantastic, so please, please, please go check it out. It's amazing stuff. The Barron County Anthology by Random Appalachian 468, as well as a former stalker texted me by Tiro 1000. Both beautiful, amazing playlists will be linked in the description. They're amazing. They're fantastic. Some of my favorite stories I've ever done here on the channel. And if you're a fan of The Children of the Oak Walker and have yet to do so, the Barron County Anthology is everything before this. So if you want to know who Madison Cromwell and Mark Petrick are, make sure to catch up, you know what I'm saying? It's great stuff, so please do so. It's amazing. So now, as we're done with those things, let's talk about the story. Oh my goodness. Part of me is like, man, I hope she just seen a weird angle and they didn't really kiss, but did she though? You know what I'm saying? Maybe she didn't. Part of me is like that. It's like, man, you guys know, I love anything Random Appalachian 468. I love his stories. They are so freaking amazing. And, man, it's crazy, dude. Oh, man. That sucks so much. Man, oh, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the emotion that I did my best to bring. I hope you enjoyed it with the whole, Chris, flipping out because, Hannah's dying, I guess, dying she is dying, I'm not going to say that, she's, see, you can make the assumptions the assumption that's okay, hey, she's not going to die, she's the main character, but it's hey, anything can happen. Don't ever, right? Walking Dead, motherfrickers, there was a couple deaths. I'm not talking about the one that everybody was so sad about because, oh no, spoilers for The Walking Dead, but, oh no, Glenn died, me. No, I'm talking about Big Daddy Carl. That death, bad death. You shouldn't have done that. Bye, Gimple. I say bye, Gimple, but the motherfricker got to be the showrunner for The Ones Who Live, so he ain't gone. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. That's me ranting. But yeah, anybody can die, right? It's never assume. Right? And also, the basic, Walking Dead rule is that if you don't see the body, they're not dead. That's kind of the rule. That has nothing to do with this, but obviously that's just kind of the rule anyways. A lot of you know I've been watching Breaking Bad. I'm almost done. Maybe I'll finish it tonight, dude. Oh my goodness, I love Breaking Bad. Let me know if you guys, no spoilers of course, but Better Call Saul isn't amazing, because to me, Saul's a great character, but he's nothing... Oh dang. Spoopy noises. Anyways, he's not an insane character. He's a funny motherfricker, don't get me wrong, but like, he's not a crazy, character. He's no Walt, he's no Jesse, no Mike, in my opinion, so I believe Mike is also in there. Oh, Discord notification. But yeah, so that's just kind of my take. But so much great stuff in this story, man. Oh my goodness, I'm just so infatuated with this story, dude. It's just such a great one, and man, I love it so much. So much, dude. And then the third novel comes out in June. So, I mean, we have plenty of time for that. We'll even have probably a good, a couple weeks, I'd say. I was going to say about a month, but April's almost over. Like, it's the 2nd today? 21st? It's crazy. April's going by like that, son. Like, my goodness. It's crazy. Feels like just yesterday we were in March, you know what I'm saying? And I had a ton of money to my name that I could spend on certain things, but now I don't. It's all gone, baby. It's bye-bye, goodbye. It's gone. A lot of it was spent on food, and that's just on me. Pop. I've bought so much pop over the last, couple weeks. It's kind of crazy. But that's me. We do actually have a webcam, though. Big news on that. Aiden bought a webcam. Aiden's my brother, by the way, if you guys don't know. But he bought a webcam for, he bought it because he was going to start... He's been planning for, honest to goodness, probably the better part of a year now to make a card channel, which, when he does, I will leave a link in the description. Pokemon cards, of course, for, that's what he wants to do. He wants to have a business selling Pokemon cards, and he wants to document it with a channel. Kind of like Phoenix Resale, if anybody knows Phoenix Resale. Fantastic YouTuber. Highly recommend. Awesome. He's a gaming reseller. Reselling is, but it's entertaining content. So if you want something to watch and you're bored out of your motherfucking mind, bored out your gourd, as we say here, we don't. I don't know. I just made that up. Anyways, that's just kind of the thing. But yeah, I've been talking to quite a while though. Is there anything else I want to talk about the story? One thing though, I love that we're getting Madison and we're getting Mark, man. Oh my goodness. I can't wait. And is Madison a puppet? Is that the thing? Or what? Personally, I don't think Mark is dead. That's more of a me thing. I have, there's a very good chance that motherfucker is just dead, right? There's no chance that he isn't, right? Spoilers, of course, for Barron County. Just a little thing. God bless. Pew! It's just a me kind of thing where it's he was left behind in, well, I guess the breach, right? The dimension that is the breach. I mean, that's what, if anybody has seen, I do apologize for, give me one sec. Alright, wanted to film that little, spoiler thing, which I always do after I talk about something, but yeah, he was left behind in the breach, so, theoretically, he could still be alive. If that motherfricker is alive, he's gonna be one of the most batting, just absolute crazy motherfrickers, that we'll ever, see, right? He's gonna be war beaten down, absolutely ready. Maybe the motherfricker's taken down a couple of Oak Walkers himself. For those who don't know what an Oak Walker is, go take a look at Stay Away from Towerpin Road. Terrifying creatures. Absolutely awesome, though. So, seriously, if you haven't watched the entirety of Barron County, what are you doing? Get yourself on that in the description, baby. Catch yourself up. This is the series that, we're going to be doing this for the better part of a month here, till it's done. So, strap in, folks, because the Children of the Oak Walker is not going, wunderbar, it's not wunderbar, freaking, auf Wiedersehen, it's not leaving anytime soon. We're going full sending it, baby. We're going, we're getting it done. And that's a great thing. So it's a great thing. Maybe streams tonight, we shall see. I have no idea. I know I said I might stream Dave the Diver. I did not. I watched Breaking Bad. Let's be honest. Breaking Bad's great. So, yeah. That's what I did yesterday. Spoilers for Breaking Bad, of course. 07's in the chat for Mike. I did see his horrible death, which was, honestly, I think it's kind of dumb. I think it's kind of dumb. Hopefully, maybe he's somehow still alive, but I don't freaking know. Personally, and like I said, spoilers, I do think Gus is still alive. What's his real name? Giancarlo Esposito. I believe that's what his name is. Oh, he also plays Anton Castillo in Far Cry 6. An amazing Far Cry game. Absolutely love it. I think the story in Far Cry 6 is easily one of the strongest stories out of the Far Cry series. I've never played 3. I know people love 3 so much. I was saving 3 for the Alphabet Challenge, if I was being honest with you. I needed a Far Cry. Well, I needed an F, and what better F than Far Cry? So, it was either gonna be Primal, New Dawn, or 3. And, excuse me, Primal doesn't have multiplayer, but it's, I've played it a ton. You know, like, I've beaten it once, and I've almost beaten it twice. I almost have it like 100% on Xbox One. New Dawn does have multiplayer. I have almost beaten the main story, but not on almost 100% of it on Xbox. But 3 doesn't have multiplayer, and I've never played it. So I was gonna do that one, because it was gonna be awesome. But, you know, but yeah, that's just it. The Alphabet Challenge is like the furthest thing from my mind right now. I really hate that it is, but it really is. Like, I just haven't thought about it. There were so many games because of the online that I wanted to get done before the Alphabet Challenge, because I picked a lot of, like, really long games. And because I picked a lot of really long games, you know, it was, because I picked a ton of long games, you know, it was going to take forever. And so if certain, games took away their online, the Alphabet Challenge would be ruined, because I'd have to go back, you know, and get them, right? So, I don't know. The only thing that, like, trophy-related I've been working on is My Singing Monsters on the Vita. That's not something that I could currently stream or record or anything, but yeah. So, I don't know. I've been talking for a while, probably about 10 minutes, so I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you for listening to me rant. I love talking to you guys, and so there's that. But maybe we'll play something tonight. I'd like to get the Shiny Charm in Pokemon's Shield. That would be cool. And then after we do that, we would start up Legends Arceus. That's the next one I want to go for, and we're going to grind the frick out of that motherfricker. I'll tell you something. So stay tuned for that. Everything Pokemon is pretty much going to be on the channel now, because I can. So, epic. So that's going to be awesome. But anyways, I don't know if I told you guys, I did get the capture card set up, so we can stream and record Pokemon, anything Nintendo, anything Xbox, even PS3, anything with an HDMI, essentially, right, that can hook up to the computer through the Elgato. It's great stuff. So, unfortunately, the only Pokemon that won't be on the channel is 3DS stuff, but because that's kind of far away in the future, at least for the challenge that we're doing, the Shiny Living Dex, Normal Living Dex, maybe, you know, once I start getting paid with YouTube, maybe I'll be able to buy a 3DS capture card. Maybe that'll be something that we can invest into. So, I don't know. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed it, because I loved filming this, so thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more Children of the Oak Walker. I also signed up for guitar lessons, so maybe look forward to covers or something. It'd be kind of cool. Yeah, I love you guys. And thank you, Dad Challenge, my dad, for, you know, paying for that and signing me up. It's going to be awesome. So yeah, I love you guys. God bless you. I'll talk to you all very, very soon. But until next time, guys, this is... Also, I want to say that I did put Pray Reprise in the end yesterday. So, let me know what you thought of that in the comments, too. If you loved it, if you didn't love it, you know, what did you like? What didn't you not like? I don't know. God bless. I love you. But until next time, guys, this is Ninja Gamer signing off.